I'm Monster1970, and today I'm going to be taking the carburetor off of this Troy-built 26-inch snowblower, cleaning it up, and putting it back together. I haven't checked it yet, but I seem to believe that there's some old gas that's in here and may have gummed up the carburetor. So let's get started. What I'll be doing is spraying a little bit of this PB Blaster on these two bolts. I do believe they're holding this cover on. Not sure what else is holding it on, but that's where we're going to start. These are held on by I think this is a 13 millimeter socket. Will take these off. And I thought that's what was holding us on. I think we have something else holding it on. I've got two bolts down here. These are 5/16. Using a 1/4-inch ratchet. Okay, let's see if this will come off now. Let's see if I can lift this cover off. If that's all that was holding it. I just need to finagle it up around the electric starter and remove the dipstick. Move that out of the way. Get a screwdriver. I'm gonna have to remove the key and the choke. And to get to into the choke lever, I'm just gonna take a screwdriver and pry in underneath it, hold on to it at the same time, keep it straight, and just pry the whole thing off. Now it should lift off. There we go. Now we can get into the carburetor. We've got a bolt on this side, I think. One bolt here. That's also a 5/16. That holds the kill switch wire on. Probably didn't need to remove that one. We got another one back here. Let me get a Phillips screwdriver. Okay, Phillips. Hopefully this one will take these off. Just gotta give her some force behind it. And then there's one other one up in this corner. Got one bolt up in here. And also holds the clamp for the dipstick. Oil dipstick tube. Oil fill tube, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to take that one out. And then this whole cover should come off. There's our carburetor. Before I take the fuel bowl off, I'm going to take this hose line clamp, put it on there, squeeze that line shut so that I don't get a lot of gas coming out. So now let's go over, now I've got that closed off, let's go over and remove the fuel bowl and see what that gas looks like. I've got a 13 millimeter socket on a 1/4-inch ratchet. And we've got a pig blanket down here to absorb, hopefully, any gas that comes out. Surprisingly, it doesn't look that bad. That is the high-speed jet. It's still open. Pull the bowl off. Bowl looks pretty clean. It's actually got a little bit of water in it. For this hose, I'm just gonna take a flat-bladed screwdriver and try to pry up underneath it. There we go. That's all a tear in it. Yeah, I might have to cut that very end off and then put it back on. Still have extra line left. So now I'm gonna see if I can loosen these screws up. The only concern is the gasket. And there's a possibility that the gasket is going to get torn. These have got nuts on the back of them, so I need to hold on possibly to a nut unless I can back it off. I'm going to have to put the camera down. Okay, what I'm going to do is hold on to the nut while taking the screw out. On the back's going to be a little more difficult to get to. Put the nut back on the screw. I'll hold on to the back side of the carburetor. Hold on to that nut while I'm unscrewing it. And I'm going to try to slide this carburetor off. I'm going to be using these duckbill pliers to get in here. Squeeze this clamp, hopefully without it breaking. I'm going to slide it back on the hose. I'm going to use these pliers. So I could have taken the exhaust off so you can see in there better, but let me get my flashlight. See, the hose is right here. I'm going to take these pliers and twist the fuel line a little bit, break it loose, and then hopefully it'll slide off. Okay, I got a flat blade screwdriver. I'm trying to get in behind here. And there we got it started. There we go. Now I got the hose off. I'm gonna tilt this up, take the linkage off. Linkage goes in this hole right here. Throttle linkage. And I'm gonna take it to the bench. I'm going to pull the float out of it and probably the low speed jet and throw in the ultrasonic cleaner and put her back together. Another thing you want to do is check this gasket here. You want to make sure it's not torn and make sure that if you need to get a new one, get that gasket material cleaned off of there. If you do need parts on this engine, down here is where the model number is listed. It's an LH1HSA. Next thing I'm going to be doing is removing this pin from the float. I'm going to need a pair of, it's like I'm using a pair of hemostats. out. Get off. Take this O-ring gasket off. I'm going to remove these two screws, which are 1/4 inch. And they will go this way. And I'm going to pry this little cap off. This is your idle mixture screw. Made it tamper resistant. You can see there it is right there. I'm going to count the number of turns it takes to fully seat it. It's like none. It's a fixed jet. So I'm just going to remove it. Doesn't look bad. I'm going to put that in the ultrasonic cleaner. And if you really wanted to get deep into these, you could pull this Welch plug out, but then of course you're going to need another Welch plug. And here is your seat. The one on this one seems to be good. Here is your fuel inlet needle. That appears to be good also. I'm going to put that in the tank and clean it up. I'm going to remove these two screws here for the choke linkage. Maybe. I think I might be leaving them on. I'm going to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner along with, that just needs to be replaced, along with these. And then this gasket here also goes bad. If you can get a replacement one of those, but this one seems to be good also. I'm just going to try to get all this cleaned up. And get them all put through the ultrasonic cleaner, and once they're done I'll be back. There's still some corrosion left on here after I removed it out of the ultrasonic cleaner, so I'm going to clean that off with this brass brush. So I'm going to clean this off. It's pretty clean. Here's our high-speed jet. A little bit of debris in the bottom of that. I'm going to blow that out with compressed air. There's our idle jet and our seat. Needle is still good. I'm just going to blow that out with compressed air. Clean all these out with brake clean, and then I'll be back. Got everything cleaned up. I can reinstall the needle jet, or the idle jet. Put that in there snug. Put the cap back on. Put this back on. These two screws go in there. too tight. I've definitely got to get a new O-ring. That one is shot. I don't think I'm going to be able to clean that up. That's deteriorated. There's a needle. I'm going to leave that off for now because I need to get that new piece there. I might just get a new needle and seat for it too. Picked up this carburetor kit from Rural King, part number 632760B. This has got everything in it to rebuild the carburetor. I'm not going to be using a lot of this stuff. You can see it comes with Welch plugs, bunch of washers, screws for the throttle plate, choke plate. It has the O-ring for the bowl and the washer for the nut here, along with the needle valve and seat. So I'm going to be replacing the needle and seat and using some of these other gaskets, but I'm not going to be using them all. Okay, this seat, you can either use compressed air and blow into the fuel inlet and pop it out, or I should be able to use this tool. This is Tecumseh part number 670677. I should be able to get in there and just pull that out. Should be. There we go. And you can see the rings are towards the bottom. So I'm going to get the new one. Put that on the end of the tool like that, and then push it up into the carburetor. Make sure it gets seated down in there. Wiggle it around a little bit until it gets seated the whole way in the bottom. There we go. That should be good. I'm going to install a replacement bowl O-ring. Take my new needle, and there should be a new clip that came along with it. Here, I don't want to get the old one mixed in there. Put that all away. That up on there like that. Take the old one off. Put the new one on. Slide it up into the carburetor. Put her in like that. New pin for the float. And that should be about right. You don't want this flat. You want it to be sloped up a little bit, slanted down a little bit like that. That should be good. And since I've got this washer, I'm going to replace that. Clean this off a little bit and get that cleaned off. And while I have this, I'm gonna get me a screwdriver. I don't want to use that. I'm gonna use this screwdriver. Push this down. Slide that clip out of the way. Maybe. Don't lose the spring because they don't give you a new one. Pull this up out of here. And this will come off. I should have a new one. I think that's it right there. That is a replacement. So I'm going to pull this one off. Put this one on. Like so. Push that up through here. Put the spring back on. Start to clip down over there. There we go. That's good. Put the bowl back on. This part here is going to go towards this side of the float. Just like that. Got two different size ones. This is the one I want. The other one is too big. Right. Let me get my socket to tighten that up. Okay, I'm tightening up with this 13mm socket. Don't go super tight. Snug her up nice and good. And that should be ready to go back on a snowblower. I'm going to keep all these other parts in case I need them again in the future. Not the old ones. Okay, I'm going to be sliding the carburetor fuel line back on. I'm gonna probably try to hook this up first. Don't remember which hole that was in. I think it was in this hole here. So I'm gonna hook that in there first. And then I'm gonna slide the fuel line on there and get the hose clamp back on. Got the hose back on there, hose clamp on. This hose here, it's your primer. That's going to go right down around on this side, which I can actually be put on probably after the carburetor is put on, but I'll put it on now. See that there? That works good. And push the carburetor back in a little bit. Get one of my bolts. Get that on there. I'm gonna get the nut on the other side. Trying to get that started with one hand. gasket in between here was still good, so I'm going to be using the old gasket. I got to do the same thing on the back side of the carburetor. So I'm going to have to probably put the camera down. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it with one hand. See if I can get it started. Started. Make sure this hose is on the whole way. With the Phillips screwdriver, I'm going to hold the nut here. It's got a lock washer on it, or a external tooth washer, so once it gets down and snug, it's not going to move anywhere. Nice and snug. Make sure our throttle works good. Yeah. That seems good. I'm going to release the clamp from the other side. And we shouldn't have any leaking. Well, now I've got the carburetor tightened down. I'm going to go and put the shield back on. That'll slide up over top of the choke assembly. Should. And over top the exhaust. And around like that. Tighten that one up. These two will go in here. I got it lined up right. I should. Snug these two up. Tighten this one up on the side. There we go. That one's good. And that one's tight there. And I should just have to slide the cover over. And then tighten these two bolts up to the top, get the choke lever put back in, and the kill switch. Okay, I'm going to loosen up the dipstick tube. The dipstick. Slide this back down over. Pretty contemptible, eh? Came off. You can see it now. So to line her up. These two nuts on. This is just plastic, so you don't want to go crazy. Put that cover on. I'm gonna have to loosen those bolts back up. Now let's try it. There we go. Now I can get her started. Back down with 5/16 socket. Tighten this back down again. Snug that down. Get the key. I'm going to be installing the choke knob. I was missing a bolt right here, so I had to put this one in. And I got the one up here, two here, one here. Now I'm going to slide the cover back over again. I'm going to tighten them down and then tighten the top two down, and then I'll be back. These two nuts are tightened back down. Those bolts are installed, keys installed, choke is back installed, the choke knob, everything is functioning the way it should. So I just have to repair the recoil and then I should be done. Okay, I just wanted to show you that I did repair the starter rope and everything seems to be good. Gonna have to get some more gas. Seems like I'm out, but everything else seems to be working, so I'll do it. Well, I'll do it for cleaning the carburetor on the 26-inch Troy-Bilt snowblower with the Tecumseh engine. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and stay safe. Thanks for watching.